Good morning. It is 104.7 The Drop. We are Denver's urban alternative. Good morning. I'm Jason, or SugaBear. I don't know why I said my government name. That's fine. Trivia, I know. That's La Molly. And we have some special guests today. I wanted to make sure I preface this with this. This is probably going to be a heavy topic for some of you out there. This may have affected you in some form or fashion, but nonetheless, this is important information, and our guests are going to explain why, okay? If you did not know, September is Suicide Prevention Month. And so our guest today, Dave Sluiter, is here, Jon-Michael Horst, and Melodie Ragen from Live Your Lyrics. Good morning. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Okay, suicide prevention. We'll get into the details of that. I don't know if you know that the CDC reports that suicide is one of the leading causes of death in Colorado. I did not know that. And so it affects us all in some form or fashion. Maybe we know someone who's been affected by that. But Dave, I want to start with you because you have a story and why this Live Your Lyrics came about. But let's get into your story and why we're here today and the information that you have.
Live Your Lyrics was born out of my personal tragedy with suicide. In 2017, my then partner, Ann Wilson, got up one morning and decided that she didn't want to be here anymore. And I didn't see it coming. Her family didn't see it coming. None of her best friends saw it coming. She went to what I believed to be a very dark place of low self-worth, didn't want to be a burden on anybody, went out and bought a gun, got up early in the morning, went into the garage, got in the back seat of her car and shot herself in the head. I heard the bang, didn't understand what was happening, went rushing around the house, went into the garage, saw her legs hanging out of the car. All right, something's really wrong here. Went over, saw a catastrophe, called 911. The 911 operator had me doing CPR. EMTs showed up and said, "Oh, this is a gunshot," and then everything kind of went fuzzy for me at that point. It's like I could not understand what I was seeing. I could not understand or grasp what I was looking at. And if you had known Anne, you would have thought there is no way that this person would be capable of doing that. She was a paralegal at a respected law firm in Denver, had tons of friends, was smart, funny, kind, and she just decided that was that and decided to check out. So to say it was devastating is a bit of an understatement. I don't really know. Even today, I don't really possess the words to fully describe the impact of that day.
I can imagine.
And I went to a kind of a bad place after that, and I was mad and storming around the house and with my fist in the air, this was your solution to your problems.
Right.
Was pretty upset for a while. I got some counseling, got some help, and that was crucial for my own well-being. I play in a band, and it hit on me one day that I didn't want, if there was a way that I could do something to turn this tragedy into something positive in the world, I didn't want any other families ever to go through what I went through. So I talked to my bandmates and I said, hey, I've got this crazy idea. Let's get together and put on a performance and try to raise some money for a mental health organization. So we started originally at my church in Lafayette, Colorado, and it started there. And the idea is really to raise awareness of suicide, to lower the stigma associated with suicide. I've learned more about the issue of suicide and how it impacts people in my experience, friends of mine had difficulty talking to me about it, and that's where I started to see and get some insight into there's a stigma here. People are very uncomfortable with this.
Yeah.
They don't know how to talk about it, and that is the genesis of this event, Live Your Lyrics.
Got it. So having the conversations around suicide and what that means, there's a sensitivity there, obviously. Melodie, if I could have you speak here a little bit. This affects someone out there that's listening right now. Has it affected you personally? And the space that you hold in Live Your Lyrics and, spreading the word about suicide prevention.
Thank you for asking, SugaBear. I am actually involved in Live Your Lyrics. I co-host it. And in terms of affecting me personally, I haven't lost somebody directly, but I have had many friends. I went to a friend's funeral whose 23-year-old son also committed suicide by a gun. And what I'm going to say, you brought it up for Colorado, SugaBear. It is one of the leading causes of death in Colorado, and where it's really having a huge impact is also with our young men, but it affects all ages. It's something that we need to bring the stigma. We need to move past it. We need to support each other. We need to talk about it. We also need to be able to talk about the people that we have lost and that we love dearly. Now, what Live Your Lyrics is, and you do this, you're all about music.
Yeah.
So we love you having us here today because we're all about music. Music is uplifting. It brings joy. There is so much joy to life, and we all love each other so much. We need to get together and be in that joy of life. And that's what Live Your Lyrics is all about, sharing the joy of life, but also coming together and saying, if you need something, we're here for each other. Let's be together and let's support each other.
I love that. Music is so healing for sure. So thank you.
One question I have is, you hear a lot, check on your friends. But as you said, Dave, in your own case, you would never have thought to even go there. What are some things that people can be looking out for in the people in their lives?
Well, I'm not a mental health professional, but what I can tell you is it's kind of two things. It's one, to be on the lookout for changes in behavior, and that can be a vast array of things, but any kind of change in behavior. But the one thing I've become aware of, if somebody is planning to take their own life, they make this commitment to it, and in their mind, that is a 100% logical solution to the problem. And so asking the direct question, are you contemplating self-harm or suicide? And if they're in that space, it's not a reinforcement for that person to go follow through on that and complete suicide. If they're in that headspace already and it makes sense to them, 9 times out of 10 is my understanding, they'll say, well, yes, I am. And now the curtain is down, and now you can step in and say, can we sit down and talk about this? What's going on in your life? This is not your only choice. There are services and care and support within the community that can help you.
Yeah. What can I do to help?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's where that stigma comes in. You're saying it does feel like such a touchy subject, as mental health in general, but suicide for sure. But if we just get comfortable being direct, it's part of caring.
Exactly.
Molly, I love what you brought up, mental health. I can tell you as a human being, and I'm an entrepreneur, and one of the organizations that supports us is Colorado Companies to Watch, which is about entrepreneurs. I don't know a person who hasn't thought about suicide. Yeah. Sometimes life just gets really hard.
It's hard, yeah.
And it's a place that we go to. We're human beings. We need to talk about it. We need to ask each other. And the other thing is, if you see somebody, Molly, that is depressed or struggling or under an extreme amount of pressure, that's where we need to come together and help each other. Live Your Lyrics, we do support mental health partners. All proceeds, 100% go to mental health partners, and they are fully tax deductible. What's important about that is mental health partners supports people throughout our community. They have a 24-hour crisis center. It is a place that you can go to get support. There's also a 24-hour hotline. They have walk-in facilities, so there's support out there, and we want them to help our community. And Molly, one of the things that you brought up for Live Your Lyrics, I just want to highlight this. And SugaBear, you say this, like music just inspires life.
I love that. And let's get to you, sir. You've been quite quiet over there. Jon-Michael Horst, what
Yes.
part do you play in this?
So I'm on the board of directors for Colorado Companies to Watch. We are an organization in Colorado that recognizes second stage companies. And more than that, we're a community. We're a community of business leaders. And being a business leader myself and my history as an entrepreneur, the stresses and the burdens of being a business leader and managing payroll and expectations and, the expectation of being successful and being strong, it does put a burden on the individuals. And,
Sure.
and mental health is critical in the business community, and so is suicide prevention. I mean, when you're managing a business and you're expected to provide the livability of your employees and the successfulness of your business and meet the expectations of investors, you can quickly go into a dark spot, and that leads to some serious mental issues and possibly suicide. So again, Colorado Companies to Watch, we are a community, and we're proud to sponsor Live Your Lyrics and promote suicide prevention, and that it's, as our board chair would say, it's okay not to be okay. It's okay to be, vulnerable and ask for help and say, I need help, I'm not in a good spot. Be honest with the people in your life. And I'm from Colorado Springs, and our mayor is doing a big push on attacking mental health issues in Colorado Springs. And the number one thing he talks about is community. That if you have a community, it drastically reduces suicide.
Yeah.
And if you have people who are checking in on you, your neighbors, your family, your friends, your coworkers, that like Melodie and Dave said, if you just ask them, are you okay? Are you thinking about taking your life? People will open up, and then they'll start to feel like, okay, someone cares. Maybe I should rethink the thoughts I'm going through. So that's really what this is all about. Whether you're in the business community, education, any economic status, any race, just
matter.
come out
Yeah.
and be part of our community and celebrate life.
Community is the operative word there. So anyone out there listening, listen, they all just spoke about it. If you know someone who has said a few things, I have a few friends that are reckless with words. I wish I wasn't here. I wish I could just leave this earth. Pay attention to that. Ask the questions, have these conversations, as all of them have said, check in with your people. So with that said, in the mental health awareness, I want to ask all of you briefly, how's your mental health? How are you doing? How are you? Are you okay? Because we're advocates of mental health around that and awareness, and make sure we do that. We talk about it a lot here. And so I want to ask all three of you, how's your mental health? Are you okay?
How's my mental health? So I'm going to say good. We've been through some stressful things that have happened to us in the last year. The big one being that Melodie and I lost our house in the Marshall Fire in 2021.
Sorry to hear that.
And we had to cancel Live Your Lyrics that year. That was it was too much. We couldn't do it. So overall, I like to use a numeric scale. I use this with my kids. So my kids have struggle with mental health also. And I say one's kind of on the low end, and you probably need some help if you're down at a 1. And if you're 10, you're just having the most fantastic day ever. So I would say 7.
Okay, I like that.
I love the question. You know what? I fluctuate. So I'm a business owner, exactly what Jon-Michael spoke about. I'm a business owner. Personally, we lost our house getting through COVID. some of the toughest years of my life, I have to say, over the last 3 years. It's been intense.
Yeah.
So I would say I fluctuate between 5s and 8s. Like, in earnest, SugaBear, you asked yesterday, I had a really rough day. I had a mentally rough day for me yesterday. I was not so happy. Today, I would give myself an 8. I'm here with you, and I'm listening to great music, and we have Live Your Lyrics coming up this Sunday, so I'm pretty happy about that.
Thank you for sharing that.
Well, I'm going to be honest here. So I have a history of being bipolar and serious depression. And about 3.5 years ago, my mom died suddenly on Christmas Eve. Oh, no. So I've been struggling with that for the past 3 years. And so right now I'm probably, 4 or 5. Mm-hmm. But I have some pretty bad days. And just going back to what we were talking about before, like, I really rely on the people who care about me to get through those tough days. Melodie being one.
Yes.
And I have some close family who live nearby me. I have really good friends. So, but I'm just being honest. Like, everyone has their days, like Melodie said, and I have my days. And it's just important to, don't isolate yourself. That is the number one thing you should not do, is isolate yourself. If you're in a dark spot, engage your community, engage your friends and family, because I promise you it makes the world a difference.
Yeah, you want to add something?
I do. I want to ask, how about you and Molly?
Oh.
Yeah.
Good question. I just had therapy yesterday, which I do bi-weekly. And yeah, I would say I'm about a 6 or 7. I lost a few friends not too long ago. And just trying to balance life, right? Things happen. So yeah, I'm about a 6 or 7, but I'm working on it. And, being vulnerable in this space about your mental health and honest with yourself. I'm not okay. I have a bad day. Sometimes days are better than others. We keep pushing. And being around people, like you said, the community is the operative word there. It's so important. Like, that support, like, let's go laugh. Let's go have a taco. Whatever it may be, let's go listen to a song. Or I DJ also. That's refuge for me, like, to get away from the world. So that's my answer.
Well, I've been pretty low recently. Life has just been lifing all over me. But I'm on the upswing, so that feels good. Climbing those numbers up.
That's
but
good.
Yeah.
Okay.
I love that phrase, life has been lifing me. I'm going to borrow that. That's awesome.
That happens. But I asked that question for everyone out there listening. I know everyone sounds like they got it all together, and you hear us in the morning on the radio and stuff, but we're just like you. We have problems, and we go through things, and, we struggle, and we have these thoughts sometimes like, what am I doing, and what's going to happen? That is a real thing. And so we wanted that relatability to transfer to the radio through our guests and, of course, through us. We're transparent here and very real. And so thank y'all for that, sharing that with us. So we cannot thank you enough, again, for sharing the story, being here. One last word would you like to say for all of our listeners?
I feel that we're meeting a need in the community because something amazing has happened at every one of these events. Inevitably, some attendee will find me at some point during the day, and they'll pull me aside and they'll tell me their lost story. And they'll share that with me. And they'll thank me for, and us now, because it's bigger than just me, but this is how it started when it was just me, and I didn't even know how to promote an event back then. Thanked me for the event and said, you need to do this again next year. Please do this again next year.
I have one thing I want to end with.
Sure.
I want everybody out there to know you are loved and you matter. You are loved and you matter. Stay with us.
Love that. Thank you to our guests, Dave, Jon-Michael, Melodie. This is SugaBear La Molly's Community Corner. I hope you got some information. If you have any questions, 303-893-3767. It's 104.7 The Drop.